Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm Anthony, and we are the channelers, healers, and voices behind Blue Soul Earth. We connect to higher levels of consciousness to bring forth divine energies to teach ancient wisdom and to heal.
These energies that we access from higher dimensions largely consist of the ascended masters that humanity across cultures know really well. They are many, but they speak collectively as one voice. And for the sake of simplicity, we simply call them our spirit team.
And how we channel as a couple is quite unique. Divine energies come through Renee's crown chakra, through her solar plexus, and into my solar plexus chakra, through my crown chakra, and back up. And it forms a three-dimensional triangle, which is used to teach and to heal.
Now these energies flow back and forth, a bit like an infinity eight. And the symbolism behind why and how this happens is pretty profound.
It's accessing divine feminine energies and divine masculine energies and weaving them together as one energy to teach and to heal.
Now, for our Blue Soul Wisdom series, we're actually going to be channeling different topics in roughly 10 to 15-minute segments.
So if you're just starting out on your spiritual journey,
or if you'd simply like to access higher levels of consciousness,
or you would like to take your healing practice to the next level,
then join us.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Anthony.
And I'm Renee, and we are here to talk today about the power of our spiritual guides, or whatever you call the higher self, the higher sense of being that we tap into at a time of uncertainty, at a time of turbulence, and at a time when it feels like our world is upside down, which, with the case of the coronavirus and so many unknowns, this is a perfect time to either tap into the guides that you already do on a regular basis, or if you haven't done it yet, discover how to. I wanted to bring up just a short excerpt from Michael Newton's Journey of Souls. Those of you who have been on a spiritual journey for a while probably have read it. Newton, who has now passed on, worked primarily with clients under hypnosis. And in these trance states, the clients were able to access their guides and speak to information that related to both past lives and in-between lives. So let's take a look at just an excerpt from his book that I think is particularly useful and relevant now for today's topic. The inner strength which comes to us in our daily lives does not arrive as much by a visual picture of seeing our guides, so much as it is the feelings and the emotions that we have that convince us that we are not alone during this time. People who listen and encourage their inner voice to come through and shine, they'll do this either through quiet contemplation or meditation. They say that they feel a personal connection with an energy beyond themselves, which offers support and reassurance. Again, going back to we are not alone. So simply put, it's a combination of our higher self and our spirit guides.
And if I can just talk quickly about what it is that I feel when they are connecting to me, I don't necessarily see what they look like, but I can definitely feel a presence that's much different than who I am as an individual. And it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. If you wish to see them, you can tell them that you'd like to see them, and I have done that, and I do see different forms of beings coming in light forms, in different types of squiggly lines, and sometimes they will give me a picture of what they might look like in a solid form.
When his clients were in trance, they saw that their guides don't help them solve all their problems at once. Rather, they illuminate pathways by the use of clues. And that's how our spirit guides teach us as well.
That's exactly right.
So let's get started. We're going to bring our guides through. Anthony is connecting to the other realms right now and our guides and asking them to come forth so we can chat about connecting during hard times. It's good to see you.
And it is always an honor and privilege to be in your presence, Gaia.
Thanks for coming through. We thought we would talk about spirit guides, higher consciousness, accessing our higher self, and our inner knowing that all of us have to access during times of turbulence.
We will tell you this, that it is more difficult to connect to us during times of turbulence than it is non-turbulence. You have too much of your mind spinning on something that is turbulent, something that is uneasy for you. So it is more difficult to connect to us. That is why the best time to connect to us is when you feel the best about yourself, not when you don't feel the best about yourself. These are the best times of all, when you must find solitude within yourself, within your own space. But it is also during these times that people are spinning. Yes. Their minds are spinning.
Exactly.
So it becomes even more difficult to connect with us.
And to connect with their higher self, and to connect and access a higher consciousness. So what about for people who haven't meditated before, and people who wish to connect and get to an inner calm during this time of uncertainty?
To connect or reach an inner calm, one doesn't have to sit. One can walk. Find a place that is natural for you, a place that is of nature, and walk. Especially where you're located. But they're all places on your planet that you can just walk and be at peace. If you can't find a place that's in nature, find a place in your home and make it yours. Make it your own unique space. Call it yours. Set up your altar, your incense, your stones, all things that make you feel connected with the divine, connected with yourself. Because you truly are the divine. You need only remember that.
First and foremost, we need to love and embrace ourselves and know that all the answers are within ourselves, not from outside of ourselves.
That is correct. Once you find the answers inside, you will automatically start to connect outside. Some try to go outside first, and that's okay as well. And then they find that the answers really were just within oneself from the very beginning. It doesn't matter whether you go inside to outside or outside into inside. What is most important is that you connect to us. And when you connect to us, you connect to you.
Perhaps you can explain to those watching who us is. Who are the guides?
The guides. The spiritual guides.
Yes, who are the guides? And knowing that they are different for each person, can you tell us about the process of how that happens?
The first thing you must do is you must understand that you are not separate from us, that we are you and you are us. You have to understand, first of all, that you are all of the same energy. Until you do that, you will not be able to connect with us, because us is you. You are us. That is the first thing you must do. And however you decide to get there, you must get there first. You can't skip the first step. There is a process.
Yes, there is a process.
Now, you wish to know who we are. Again, we always say that we are you. But in this case, we are nothing more than a bunch of, we can say bunch, but we are many energies that make up your spiritual team. Each soul has its own spiritual team, depending upon the energy that it decides to take on in this lifetime. You and Anthony have taken on energies that are very connected to your, how should we say, Judaic roots. Those things that are related to your holy books, things of that nature. We are your guides that are spiritual, that come from your Old Testament, New Testament,
and other
the Torah, and things of that nature.
But
yes.
Other also guides and masters that have nothing to do with Judaism.
Yes, we would say things that have to do also with Islam, things that have to do with
Buddhism,
any type of holy book that you can think of, that is where your spiritual guides come from. That is why there are so many for you and Anthony. It is not just from one particular book, but from them all.
including Shintoism.
Yes, of course. If there is a holy book, then that is, and those are your guides.
Now, that's because that's what we selected or chose or at a soul level in this particular lifetime.
That is correct.
So how would that apply to others? Is there a way that they can tap into that inner knowing of perhaps these are the intuitive insights that we get, so they know who their guides just might be?
That is a good question. You must first be willing to connect to it. And if you truly are, then we will come to you. How do you do that? We told you the first step is to connect with yourself. You must either sit or walk, depending on how you choose to connect to nature or to yourself.
And it could also be done through music and art as well.
Yes, any medium is appropriate. You could do it through your exercise, through yoga, kung fu, any martial arts. You could jog if you choose. If you feel that connection to something greater than yourself, then you are connecting to yourself.
Robin Williams used to do it on his bike.
Yes, of course. There is no one path. There are many different paths. Think about it as different languages, different foods, different music. Whatever you resonate with, that is most likely your path.
Can you also explain what we mean by guides in the sense of energy and what you're made up of? So, for example, you often tell us that our guides are made up of frequencies, and we are also made up of just frequencies. So from that perspective, can you talk about what frequency means and how we connect to the frequency?
Yes, a frequency is nothing more than a bunch of, you might say, sounds put together. Ones and zeros, if you will. These are frequencies like on your radio station. All you need to do is tune a little bit, or you press a button to the next number, and that is a frequency. That is all who we are, and that's who you are. But the most important thing is to remember that your frequency and our frequencies are very similar, and they all come from one source of energy, and that is the goddess, the god, or source energy, or source consciousness.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions at all related to anything that we brought up today about how to connect to your guides, about who your guides are, perhaps that you've heard voices or had inner feelings and you're wondering if those indeed are your guides.
We are here to assist you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So send us your questions, send us your feedback, and thanks for joining us today.